Hi everybody, it's Kenzie Knox and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be painting a nice little morning sunshine painting with some palm trees, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So let's get started. Let's begin off by spritzing down our canvas. Today I'm working on a 14 by 17 mixed media paper that's been double primed with gesso. I'm going to take my 1-inch oval mop brush and just spread out that water on my paper. I decided to add titanium white, sky blue, lemon yellow, dioxazine purple, sap green, and light olive green to my palette. So add those to your palette, and let's begin off with some titanium white along the top of our canvas. Continue spreading this out, and then we'll grab a little sky blue, and then add that on top of the titanium white as well. And we're going to grab some titanium white and just spread that out, keeping the sky blue to the top and the right hand side of the canvas. Taking the leftover blue, I'm just going to paint that down below, which will be our water area. Then I'm just going to rinse off my brush real quick, grab some titanium white, and start lightening up the sky. Remember, we're keeping the top and the right hand corner the deepest in shade, and then adding white to the rest of the painting. Grabbing some more titanium white and a little bit of lemon yellow, we're going to add our little sunset area now to the bottom of the blue and white section of the sky. Add a little bit more white and yellow. We're going to bring that down just so that we can basically put in our horizon area. And again, I'm just scumbling out the rest of the paint on my paintbrush. Grabbing my size 4 filbert brush, I'm grabbing a little titanium white and adding a little sun just to designate the area where the sun will be. Using my size 2 flat brush, I'm grabbing dioxazine purple and sap green. I'm going to add in my little land line right here, my horizon line. So just add that in real quick, just so you know where it is. Then we'll start adding in some tree trunks. We'll add one here that goes all the way up, and then add one next to it that doesn't go all the way up, but almost to the top of the sky. Then we'll take some more paint, and we'll add some trees on the left-hand side, one that goes all the way up. And I decided to add in some palm trees to this painting. I thought it would make a nice little tropical landscape painting. So I'm going to add in a palm tree right here, and then have a little neighboring palm tree right over here. And then our sun will be right between the two trees. And then we'll just add another little tree right in here. Go ahead and rinse off your brush, or you can just scumble some dioxazine purple along the bottom hand side of the canvas. Using my 1-inch oval mop brush, I grabbed some dioxazine purple. I'm just going to paint in the left and right hand bottom portions of the canvas where the water will be. Grabbing some sap green and some light olive green, I'm just going to paint in a little bit of a land line, I guess you could say, some grass area. Add a little white to that paint, and we'll just add that in a little bit more. A little hill over here, maybe a little hill over here. Then we'll grab some dioxazine purple and some sap green, and we'll begin to add in our little bushes in front of the trees. So just tap, 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 tap. Continue tapping this mixture of sap green and dioxazine purple along the horizon line of your canvas all the way across, creating multiple bushes and shrubbery just along the horizon line. Just keep tapping these in. You can create shorter shrubbery or bushes or taller ones. It's really up to you. And over here, we're just going to add a couple bigger bushes on this left-hand side. Then we're just going to go back in. We're going to bring this land line a little bit down and then add some shadows to our little hills as well. Rinse off your brush, grab your size 2 flat brush, and we're just going to go over our tree trunks with some dioxazine purple again. And once you're done with that, you can rinse off your brush and put that aside, and grab your liner brush, dip that into some dioxazine purple and some sap green, and make an inky like consistency using water or a media thinner. And then we're just going to add some branches to our tree trunks, and you can add as many or as few branches as you'd like. Please remember that you can speed up or slow down this video using the YouTube gear tool, I believe, in the upper right hand corner of your screen. But also, we are not adding branches to our palm trees, so remember to leave those alone. You know, adding branches to trees are actually one of the hardest things you can do. So using this liner brush or bigger brush or whatever you want to call it is actually quite difficult for some people, and I've heard that it can make or break an artist, honestly. But one tip I have for you is using warm water, which will help the media flow a lot easier. This is a trick I figured out by myself. Nobody told me this. I found this out by trial and error, I guess you could say. But yeah, warm water added to the paint mixture, making that inky consistency, really helped ease the branch making process for me, making thinner branches a lot easier. So if you're having trouble, you can give that a try. That might help you. And once you're done with your branches, you can go ahead and rinse off your brush and put that aside. And then we're going to switch over to our size 1 oval mop brush, and we're going to tap in some foliage using Dazzling Purple and Sap Green. So just tap, 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 tap in that foliage on the main trees, not the palm trees, but the other trees. Remember that we're not trying to fill in the entire space, but we're just simply trying to add to it. So we don't want to cover up the entire canvas with this purpley green color. We're just simply trying to add in some shadows. Then we can dip into our sap green using that same brush. If you have too much paint on it, use a paper towel and you can wipe off the residue paint. And then we're just going to tap in some foliage and add some highlights or midtones to our bushes and our trees. Continue using your sap green to tap in the foliage until you're fully satisfied with your trees and your bushes. And then once you're done with that, you can wipe off the residue paint and tap into your sap green and light olive green and mix those two together, and we'll create a little highlight shade and just tap that and add the color to the canvas. Remember that the sun is on the left hand side, or the middle to left hand side of your canvas, so we're trying to highlight the left hand side of the trees mainly. That's where our focus is, and the bushes, or the right side on this side. So on the left side of the canvas you're highlighting the right side, and on the right side of the canvas you're highlighting the left side. We will add a further of a highlight after this, so don't worry, this is not your lightest highlight. So after your trees, go ahead and highlight your bushes, keeping that same mentality about the highlights and the placement of them. Once you're done with your bushes and trees, just go ahead and swipe that color along the land line or the grass line. Then we're going to switch over to our size 4 filbert brush, grab some Dazzling Purple and some sap green, and we're going to add in our palm leaves. So simply just sketch in or map in where you want the placement of your palm leaves. I suggest adding at least 6 palm leaves to each palm tree. You can add more if you'd like. You can even add less if you really want to. It's up to you. And then we'll add each individual palm leaf in afterwards. At this point, I think our sun has moved over a little bit, so we're just going to place our sun back in using titanium white. I'm going to add a little titanium white and lemon yellow to this area just to highlight it a bit more, and then carry it over the palm trees, because as the sun comes through, we're hoping that it's bright enough that it'll illuminate this entire area. Basically sun rays, but just a little more intense in this specific area. Then switching over to our size 2 flat brush, we're going to go ahead and add in the palm leaves. You can continue using your filbert brush or even a fan brush if you'd like. Just add in your palm leaves. And remember to watch out for drips. As you can see, I've got a little drip on my paper, but that's okay as long as the media is dry. If it's wet, you can go ahead and just swipe that off and fix that at a later point. But go ahead and add in as many palm leaves as you'd like using this green color. Once you've filled in all your designated palm leaves, you can add in additional ones as you see needed, or fill in some of the shadowed areas that you think need a little bit more green foliage in them. And once you're done with adding in your palm tree leaves, you can rinse that off, put that aside, grab your size 4 filbert brush, and add some titanium white to some light olive green. And I'm just going to position that sun, I guess, in right there. This does create a yellowy sort of shade, so I guess that's why I did that. But anyways, go ahead and tap in your highlights, keeping in mind where the sun is. So on the left side of the canvas, we'll be highlighting the right side of the trees and bushes. And on the right side of the canvas, in regards to the sun that is, we'll be highlighting the left side of the trees and the bushes with this highlight color. You can also use a mop brush if you choose to do so. I just decided to use a filbert brush, but yes, this does take a bit longer, but it's a more strategic placing of the highlights rather than just placing them in bunches. But you can do it either way. It's fine. There is no right or wrong. Once you're done highlighting your bushes and your main trees, go ahead and grab that color and then start highlighting your palm leaves. Once you're done highlighting your palm trees, go ahead and add your sun back in. Grabbing some titanium white and some lemon yellow, just go over your little landline again. We just need to highlight this and basically get rid of our tree trunks that we previously painted in. So we're just going over this area, and then we'll paint it in again with the greens. You can add a little of your light olive green in there, and then add some dazzling purple into the shadowed areas of your trees again and your bushes. This time we're going to add some light olive green with some sky blue and some titanium white, and take this green shade and add this into our bushes and our trees and our palm trees as well. Taking some sap green and sky blue, I'm just going to mix that up and take this darker green and add this to our shadowed area of our trees and our bushes. Once you're done tapping that color in, grab some sky blue and some light olive green, mix that together and add in this highlighted shade to your trees and your bushes. These green shades are really beautiful, and I actually have never really played around using my sky color and mixing it into the landscape before. I've always picked out a color palette from the colors available, but I really liked this idea and the colors that came about, so I was really happy to play around with this a bit, and I hope you are too. I hope you guys are finding this painting enjoyable and easy to follow, and if you have any suggestions and or feedback, please feel free to leave it in the comment section of my YouTube tutorial. Please remember to like this video, by the way, and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. Next, we're going to grab that light olive green with the sky blue and add some titanium white, and we're going to add some highlighted sections to the bushes and the trees. Taking some light olive green and titanium white, go ahead and highlight the grass section of our little land area, I guess you could call it. I'm going to take some sap green and add in some greener pastures and then more shadowed areas. Next, we're going to grab some titanium white and we're going to add that to our watery pond area or lake or our little inlet, and then add some sky blue as well. Remember that the water tends to be darker than the sky, so just keep that in mind when shading in this section of the painting. Keep your water lines horizontal, by the way. It'll make it look more like water. Grabbing some titanium white, I'm going to work that into the blue and then lighten up this area of the painting. Or the water, I'm sorry. Keep in mind where the sun is because that area is going to be a lot lighter than the other sections of the water. I'm just adding in the reflection areas of the sky right now, so they'd be between the trees. Reflections of the trees will be the next part of the painting, so don't worry about leaving these gaps or areas that are not painted just yet. And once you're done with the reflections of the sky, we can go ahead and grab some sap green and dioxazine purple and add in the reflections of the trees and the bushes. A very simple way to make a reflection is simply to pull some vertical lines down and then gently sweep over them in a horizontal fashion. So you'll see me doing that. So mixing that up with just random horizontal lines as well. But that's a good way to make a reflection. Now I'm going to take some sap green and add in some further reflections of the greener areas of the trees. In order to create these reflections, I'll be pulling down some vertical lines and then pulling them horizontally to create that watery, shimmery look. Grabbing a mixture of dioxazine purple and sap green, I'm going to go ahead and add the reflections of the trees over here, of the shadowed areas that is. So this color right here is a little bit more green than it is purple. Just keep that in mind. And the reflections of the palm trees will be a bit different than the rest of the reflections. They'll be kind of curved. Just watch as I create them and just try to follow along, I guess, is all I'm trying to say. Going back to the sun, take titanium white, add your sun back in, and then just add some areas between the palm leaves to make it look like the sky is shining through. Once you're done adding in those gap areas, we're going to go ahead and start the reflection of the sun. When I painted this painting, I actually added a gap right here between the reflection of the beginning of the sun and the water, and then towards the end of the reflection of the sun. In the end of this painting, I believe I created one straight line with some zigzags in it, so you can do that. But back to the palm trees. But now I'm going to go in with the palm tree reflections. This is a bit more difficult, so I create a curved line and then just pull out that vertical line, I should say, horizontally. I'm trying to mimic the shape of the trees as best as possible, as well as the palm leaves too, while leaving an area for the sun to shine through. If you're a beginner and you're finding this a bit difficult, you can go ahead and slow down this video to the speed that you need it to be in order to follow me using the YouTube gear tool. I believe you can slow down the speed up to like a quarter of the speed the original video is. But just keep adding in some horizontal lines until you think that your reflection in the water mimics the actual palm trees above. You can just add in a bunch of horizontal blobs of paint if you'd like. We're going to be adding some highlight colors after this, so don't worry about that. But go ahead and add some of that sap green to the bush areas where you find some more green colors in the shrubbery, and mimic that in the water. So pull down some vertical lines and pull them horizontally. You can use a flat brush, a filbert brush, any brush you're comfortable with really. There is no going wrong with this process. Just make sure that you're enjoying it and that you're finding it relaxing and not stressful. This should not be stressful in any means whatsoever. It should be a fun, relaxing process that you should really be able to enjoy. I know I do, and it helps me to de-stress and just let go and fall into this like magical land that I love. So I really do hope that you enjoyed as much as I do, and I hope you're following along all right. Okay, next up we're going to grab some sap green with our sky blue, and we're going to just add in this nice beautiful rich green color to our reflections in the area that you see the green. So the water will mirror whatever we see on the land. So just keep that in mind when you're adding in these different shades and colors. We just want them to fall roughly along the areas where we place them in the painting. And once you're done with that, grab some light olive green with your sky blue, and we're going to go ahead and add in some of these highlights in the lighter areas of our painting, so the outsides of the trees and the bushes, mainly along the tops and to the right side of the left side of the sun, and the left side and the top area of the right side of the sun, if that makes sense. I think I said that backwards. Sorry guys, I'm a bit dyslexic, but yeah, so add that to the tops and the outsides, just to where the sun would be hitting the trees, and a little bit in between here and there. Like I said, there really is no going wrong. Just enjoy the process. And once you're done with the trees and bushes, we can't forget about our palm trees. So we're going to add some of that light green shade to our palm trees, just around the sun basically. And then when you're done with that, rinse off your brush, grab some titanium white and a little bit of lemon yellow, and we're going to go ahead and start working on the area of the sky or the water that's lit up by the sun. So we're just going to pull some vertical lines and pull them horizontally, pulling them into the greener areas and the purpley areas, creating some variations. So it's not just like solid lines going up and down. You know, we want those zigzag lines in the water because reflections aren't perfect. So go ahead and add some highlighted areas to your water. Then we can add some yellow with some light olive green and titanium white, and mix that all together for a nice light yellowy green shade, and add that to the areas where the sun is mostly highlighting the trees and foliage. And don't forget about some in between areas as well. But mainly we'll stick to the top of the foliage and to the sides of the trees. The sides that are facing the sun, that is. Remember to keep those lines horizontal. Remember, you can always pull the vertical line and then pull the paint horizontally to stretch out those the paint trails. And once you're done highlighting your bushes and shrubbery, don't forget about your palm trees, and keep the area closest to the sun the brightest and the most warm. We're adding warm tones obviously, but you want the area around the sun to be the brightest and yellowest, and obviously blue and green make yellow, and the closer we get to the sun, the less blue we'll have, so it'll be more yellow and more orangey in shade, but we're just going to use yellows and white. Going to do the sun reflection, so grab some titanium white and just a little bit of some lemon yellow, and we're going to pull a whole line all the way down our painting, and then just pull the paint back and forth left and right, creating those horizontal lines that create the wonderful reflections of the sun, keeping the area closest to the towards the sun or the land wider and brighter, and then the area closer to the bottom of the canvas a little bit thinner and lighter. And now we're creating some sun streaks, so you can either water down some of your paint using the white and yellow color that you made, or you can use a paint thinner or paint thinning media. I suggest using a paint thinning media. There's a bunch of them out there. They really do help you with creating this layered sunshine look, if that's what you're really going for. Now taking some yellow with some media thinner again, or some water, you can make this little liquidy solution if you'd like. I'm going to add some yellow streaks to my sunshine, streaks, I guess you could call them. A specific amount of streaks that you could create to create the proper amount of sun streaks that you need in a painting, so it's really up to you on how much you want to add. Grabbing a little bit of my light olive green, I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight to the tops of these trees. I just thought that they needed to be a little bit brighter than what they were in the painting, just to match where the sun would be hitting them. Take some lemon yellow, titanium white, and a touch of sky blue to make this minty green shade, and I'm going to add this to my palm leaves to better match the color palette of my canvas, based on the sky color, that is. Next, some sap green with my sky blue, and take that green color and add in some darker palm leaves to the top layer of the palm tree to shadow that in a bit more. You don't have to do this if you don't like, I just thought I added a bit something. And now I'm going in with some lemon yellow with some sky blue to add in another green shade that I'm going to add into the shrubbery. This is a bit cooler in color, so I'm adding it to the more shadowed areas of my trees, giving it just a little more color. Again, I'm just playing around with some colors and learning about color palettes and color schemes and whatnot, and I actually found this painting very informative and useful and easy to play around with and basically trial and error with these colors. Once you're done with adding the highlights to some of the shrubbery, go ahead and add in the reflections of these highlights into the water. Again, using the vertical pull down lines and then pulling them horizontally. And you can already tell that the water is starting to reflect the bushes a lot better, and the colors are blending a lot better, and the colors and tones are easier to make, and it's just more pleasing to the eye overall. Next, we'll take some titanium white with a little bit of lemon yellow again, just a little bit, and we're just going to go around the sun again, brightening up this area of the sky. We really want that sun to be really bright and coming through like very strongly, well, almost severely, but we want this part to be almost whited out because that sun is so strong in the morning and it's just so beautiful and brilliant. And so we're just going to add a little bit more yellow in here now, just to heat up this area and add back in the yellow to the sun streaks that are shining through the bushes and trees. Now, rinsing off our brush, we're just going to add a little bit of our dioxazine purple back to our palm trees on the outside areas, just to bring in some shadows again. And we're just going to tap in some purpley shadows and foliage into the bushes again, just to add in some shadows and add some more depth back into our painting that we may have covered up. If you don't need to do this step, you don't need to do it, and you can skip on ahead. I just felt like the highlights just weren't quite enough, so I'm going to add some sky blue with some light olive green and titanium white and create a really light highlight color and add this back into the foliage around the sun. So it's both the bushes and the shrubbery. Once you're satisfied with your highlights, we're just going to go ahead and highlight the water areas again, just to the areas of the bushes and the shrubbery and the trees that we use this highlight color. After the reflections, grab some lemon yellow with some titanium white, and we're just going to add some yellow to the water, so to the sides of the whiter yellowy reflection of the sun. We're just going to warm up that area. And then we're going to grab some titanium white to some of that olive green, whatever is left on your palette there, and just add some greener, yellowy colors back into the palm trees to make sure that you can see that they're there. And we're just heating those up a bit with the yellowy green color, and to some of the foliage too in the sunstreak areas. Then we're going to take some sap green with some light olive green and add that to that remaining yellowy white color. And we're just going to add in some darker colors again to the palm trees that are farthest from the sun. Just adding in the palm trees back to the painting, I guess. and to some of the shrubs too. Then we're going to take some light blue violet with our thinning agent. Now if you don't have this, go ahead and add some water to your paint. Add some titanium white to that color as well, but you can see that it thins it out quite greatly depending on how much of this paint thinning medium you use. And we're going to add in a mist because it's going to be like the morning glow. So we're going to add this misty area or misty fog that's going to come in from the side, and it's just going to go along the back side of the shrubbery and along the grass, and it's just going to hover back here until it burns off once the sun gets a little bit higher in the sky. But it's that morning dew that we're trying to paint in there. Once you're satisfied with the dew you've added to the bushes and the grass, I'm going to go ahead and add that reflection into the water. So make sure you leave a little bit of a landline, that dark little purpley line under the grass. Leave that alone, but you want to add in the mist to the water, just to add the reflection. And we're almost done. This is very exciting. I'm really happy how this painting came along, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this painting as much as I did. But go ahead and add some titanium white to some lemon yellow. We're going to mix that up, and once again add this to the sun streaks, brightening up that sun a little bit more and adding some more heat to the sky. Don't forget that we must mimic that sun in the water and the reflections below, so we'll add in some more heat to the water again. If you feel like your painting is done at this point, you can stop and you can just skip ahead of this step, but I'm just going to add a little bit more yellow to the sun streaks and also into the water reflections around the shrubbery, just to brighten them up a bit and just highlight them a bit more. You know, I really want that sun to really reflect in the water and show how strong and prominent it is. So it's up to you if you want to continue adding in some yellow and white to your painting in the reflection areas. I really think it adds a little bit of something, but it's really up to you. Then we're going to go ahead and rinse off our brush, grab some clean titanium white paint, and we're going to go ahead and add in the reflection of the sun again, making sure that the water closest to the sun is thicker in the reflection area, and it kind of fades as it gets closer to us. And then you can add a little bit to the sun streaks as well, just carrying them out a bit more with that yellowy white media mixed solution that you created of paint, or watered down solution of paint. It's really up to you on how far out you want to create these sun streaks. They can continue out to the other trees on the right hand side of the painting, or you can stop them where they are on my painting. And then we're going to add a little bit of our light blue violet titanium white to our media mix, or mixed media thinner, and add in the little fog on the left side of the bushes that haven't quite burned off yet. And so this fog can be as high or as low as you want it, as thin or as thick as you want it to be, but just don't forget to add in the reflections in the water too. And then you can tidy up any little portion of the painting that needs tidying up or that you think needs fixing. But we're done with this painting, so I'm super happy how it turned out. I hope you are as well. Please remember to like this video and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye!